Hello, and welcome to Actual Play, the Twilight Throne of the Houses of Ruin. I'm very excited to get into our first endeavor. I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me everywhere at Sean Nittner, and my hair is all messed up today. I don't know. It's fine. We'll figure it out later. I am so... What's that?
We can't fix that in post.
No, we can't. I'll have to just look this way.
No,
for the good side.
Very artful, right?
It's very artful. Thank you. It's
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
nice way of saying it.
I
right.
just watched the Batman, so like.
Oh God, that was the worst hair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, maybe I'll watch it just to feel better about my bad hair. What am I talking about? Oh, we're playing this game and we're streaming on this channel. So the thing about this channel is you should give us money. Because all the proceeds that we make are split between the Trans Legal Defense and Education Fund and Black Lives Matter. So, click the buttons, the subscribe, you give us money buttons. Do it with the Amazon Prime one. Give us Jeff Bezos' money. That we'll take anyone's money. Anywho, I'm playing Eloise, the all consumer. And she just wants to eat it all, and which is sort of how I feel. I'm just perpetually hungry. I just sort of always want Taco Bell, even though it's terrible for me. But no, what she really wants is to sort of give life, death, something, the spark to her child. And that's not going to work. So we'll see what horrible things she does trying to make it happen anyway. Yeah, that's me. How about you, Connie?
Hey everyone, I'm Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. I am on the internet at by Connie Chong, BYCONNIECHANG on Twitter and whatnot. But here I am playing Kavar, she, her, the Lust Maker. Her sole ambition in life is to turn her beloved, her right-hand woman, her bodyguard that she has a illicit affair with, I think, Astra, fully mortal in order to ensure Astra's survival past annihilation, because of course it's annihilation for everyone who's not immortal. So if you're a regular old human being, you're fine, which Kavar has a lot of salty feelings about because she's not just a regular human being. But that's a last resort. She has another special operation in the works that she's calling Operation Cultivate Door. She, of course, has many connections with the Guardian of the Doors, the Keeper of the Doors, and the City of Doors, which are basically portals that open up into like thousands, like nigh infinite realities, alternate dimensions, planes, timelines, etc. And she's gone through almost all of them, and there's not a single door that leads to a reality where the annihilation doesn't occur. So instead of trying to find a new place, she's trying to cultivate a door, make a reality where annihilation has been averted. But in case that doesn't happen, in case that fails, she wants to make sure at least the person she loves is safe. So that's her deal. Also, she's massive and butch and has a lot of anger issues and hot as hell. So that's Kavar.
Love it, love it, love it. How about you, Misha?
Hi, I'm Misha B. You can find me on the interwebs at BG Gameworks on Twitter or blackrowgameworks.com, my website. This week I am playing Ada, the Silken Shard of House Clay and Glass. She doesn't have very super lofty ambitions. She's just trying to take the throne and see if, changing the who's sitting on the throne averts annihilation. Well, it's possible, right? It's a thing that could happen. And if not, well, just throw a few other people under the bus and see what happens. So yeah, that's Ada's ideas.
I think those are good, noble ideas. Yeah.
Excellent. But yeah, and hi everybody. I'm Ray. My pronouns are they, he, and I am so excited to be the GM for the session. I am also the writer of the Twilight Throne of the Houses of Ruin, and this is our first time playing the Throne of Annihilation, which I'm super excited about our nobles hastening the apocalypse on their own terms, basically facing the clock of ruin to make sure they get the ending that they deserve, right? And everyone else can eat it. Is basically
we're all going down, but you're going down first.
Oh my gosh, can I also say real quick, Connie, that I've had 5 different people message me about your moments in the last episode.
You heartbreaker, you.
Listen,
But especially about that moment with the child, where like we're gonna just take the child.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Oh, listen, I have to. That's leverage right there. That baby is leverage, and I'm gonna
I
use
mean,
that
Yeah.
against
it's
my
clearly
sugar.
what should be done. I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's no questions about this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%, 100%.
Yep.
Such a beautiful moment. But I'm just so amused that like different people reached out to me about it.
So good.
But yeah, okay. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do our first scheme, which is super exciting. We'll come across some mechanics for the first time. But basically, the most important thing is that we are going to go after the House of Blood and Bone. I remember before we get into the mechanics, though, and we roll into the scheme, Sean, I remember you wanted a scene for Eloise where like the others talk to her, right? To like sort of like get her on
Yeah.
board,
I
right?
feel like
Talk.
Kavar and Ada and Ida. Sorry, I don't know why I apologize, Misha. I keep saying Ada. I mean to say Ida.
It is Ada.
It is Ada. Okay. Well, then I corrected myself wrong.
Take your
Ada.
apology back, Sean. Take it back.
Well, I still messed up. All right. Thank you. The Kavar and Ada were like, yeah, let's take down the House of Blood and Bone, which Eloise is not necessarily opposed to. I think she has some thoughts on it. It just, I thought it would make sense for us to have some little short scene to sort of make sure that when we start the scheme, she sort of knows what's going on. Unless the idea is to like kind of keep her in the dark, in which case, let's just go and see what happens. But I think if we all were doing it together, then some kind of discussion of that beforehand would make sense. So, yeah, who wants to sell Eloise on taking down her own home?
Is this a good cop, bad cop situation?
Yeah. Can Kavar be good cop? Because Kavar's totally gonna try to seduce Eloise.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Love it.
Okay, where do we think this is taking place? I guess the question is, Eloise, what place makes you feel safe that the other two would have access to?
Yeah, let's look at the. I realized I don't have my character keeper open. I was like, wait, there are things. I know there's things. There it is. The things that I have written down so that I can help myself answer these questions. Hold on, let's take a look at this nonsense. I don't know that we have any specific locations, but I bet something will come to mind looking at. I think we all know we have sort of established that the child is surveyed by
Oh, the elder, right?
the elder, and I don't remember if Eloise knows that or not. Probably best if Eloise doesn't know that, and so we have this conversation in front of them. That'd be good.
Ooh,
That'd be
nice,
great.
nice. In front of the child, yeah.
Yeah. Just to make sure everything is like extra cursed and doomed. I think it should be in the baths. So there are these like giant, vast Roman baths that that the House of Blood and Bone hosts. Just like anyone can kind of come to the the House of Sword and Halos sort of like big plaza. The baths are where you go to burn away your impurities. Now it's just freaking water or whatever. Like you just get in like, but there's this whole like ritualistic thing of like essence and that's burned and all these things that people do to like purify themselves, often in preparation for death, but or just because it feels nice. That's fine. And they're very steamy. And so while the baths are all kind of close, like you might be able to overhear somebody, you probably can't see them because of all the fog and the steaminess. So I think Eloise is probably there, like she is kneeling over the bath and the child is like submerged to sort of shoulder level and she's brushing their long black hair and taking the knots out of it. That's a place Eloise would be comfortable for whatever reason. I don't know. Yeah. That's my detail. That's my
I like
location
that.
detail.
I like that. And I want to add that, like, so we have the steam and the fog, and then there are all these like darkened curtains.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea, like the tiles are all black. So the water, you can't quite tell when you're like stepping into the water, or like there's this, there's this sense of illusion and not being able to like know what you're seeing or experiencing quite. So I think the question is, like for other two, how do you enter the baths, right? Or how do you appear on the scene?
So, quick question: we're calling this person the child, but he's not actually a child, right?
Yeah, I think they're. We haven't specified, but let's say they're in their 20s. Like
Okay.
they're an adult. They
Gotcha.
are my child, but they're not a minor. And they're an adult who theoretically could take over the house. But
is this a situation where they look 20, but they've been around for like decades, kind of?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're probably 100, but we're all thousands. So in that regard, it's like vampire child logic. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah.
It's why like Buffy
I like how
is-
everybody's like, I get it.
Yep. Completely
This is
understand.
the kind of
Vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I know Kavar would enter the scene.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really misty, right? Like thick, steamy bath. And as you're combing the child's hair, there's just sort of like the water around you just ripples. And I think some of the mists part to reveal like a huge, like 6 foot something, muscular form just sliding fluidly into the water. And you see Kavar sort of land, and she's like propping her like arms on either side of the ridge of the bath, and you can see like where one side of her chest has like a top surgery scar on it, right, and the other one doesn't, and her entire torso, and you assume this extends to the rest of her body, is just interwebbed with these thick black tattoos that declares who owns her body, right, which is her father, motherer, the Night Conqueror of the House of Sword and Halo. And her halo, her crown of these like sharp golden spikes that dig into her forehead at all times and like cause like her face to just like leach blood down her front. She actually reaches up and like takes it off.
Oh,
like
wow.
almost like she like makes eye contact with you, like her golden eyes, and she takes off her halo, right? And immediately the blood stops pouring. I think a final sheet of blood wipes past her eyes and just dribbles into the water and is washed away.
Yeah.
And she like flicks her wrist and like disapparates the halo, so it's gone, right? And her like black medium length hair is just sort of like wet and like adhering to her like tanned skin, right, with like scars all over it. It's a truly like very like sultry moment as she's just sort of leaning there. Eloise, I didn't know skeletons knew how to relax.
And she is like leaning over the pool, like brushing the child's hair, and she says, "Oh, there's still some flesh on these bones," and she is like completely. Whereas you're like topless, she is just. There's very little of Eloise that is visible. She has a veil covering her face. She's wearing she's gloved, even though the child, like, it's super not sensible to be at a bath and be wearing gloves, but whatever.
Sure.
The fucking noble. She can do whatever else she wants, right?
Somebody else will dry up. It's fine.
But I think she still sort of like gestures her wrist so that you can see that like the clothes hanging on her arms are not hanging on bones, right? She's proud to have to not be all skeleton yet, like the obsidian skeleton is. And she says, is this your normal bath, or are you making a special visit just to see me?
I like to have a finger in every pie. The baths of your house are particularly good at exfoliating the soul, don't you think? Purging the impurities and whatnot.
None are better. And I think it's notable that when like the blood that you had, the last little bit that you had, it's just like it just gets whisked away and it disappears because the water is dark. In your waters, it would be all visible, right? Because it's all bright lights and all this stuff. And here, all your impurities are just It's not so much that they're gone; it's that they're invisible.
Yeah,
I think that's the lie about.
They
the
get mixed with all the other impurities.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Don't think too hard about it. It just
Don't
gets
think
weird.
too hard.
Don't,
about it.
don't think too hard.
It gets bacteria.
Kavar, like, her eyes like flick you up and down. She's like completely ignoring your kid, like they don't even matter
Everyone
in the
does.
situation.
Everyone ignores
right?
the kid. Yeah, it's fine.
Jesus.
She's so used to
Poor
it.
kid. Yeah.
I know this child.
And Kavar just sort of says, I wonder what sort of physique those pauldrons and vestments and chains and leather are hiding. Such a shame to keep it hidden all the time, don't you think?
Well, some think that beauty should be shared with all, and she sort of she vaguely gestures at you with the comb, and others believe that only those who are most worthy should see our true selves.
And what do you believe?
I have a duty that I must uphold, and these vestments are a part of that. What I believe and what I want are immaterial, Kumar. I'm not like you. I cannot just gallivant about the various realms as I please.
Can't you?
You hear whisper in your ear, just, but don't you want to sometime? And she like runs a finger down your neck.
Nice. I think there's a shiver. I think that there's like a shiver. It's a little bit out of surprise. It's a little bit out of it's a little bit of being tantalized. And Eloise misses a beat. She pauses for a second. It's like, and kind of regains her composure and says, "Of course, we all have desires." And now that she knows you're both here, it's like, okay, something's up. Like, you wouldn't both be here if some shit wasn't going on. So she's like, you can be assured these baths offer us all the privacy that we need. Why am I visited by not one but two noble houses?
Ada looks the child up and down, trying to decide. It's like she's heard rumors about the kid, right?
Yeah.
None of them particularly flattering.
No. I think he looks a little bit anemic. He looks a little unwell. Young-ish, but again, like adult, not just sort of young features, and just has these like hopeful puppy dog eyes that like are really hard not to be like, oh my god, you're the sweetest little thing. You just need someone to give you love and whatnot. And he just sort of like has this 1,000-yard stare of like, if only someday. And that's just what he's like all the time. It's probably really adorable at first and then like really awkward after a while, because like who stares at you with that like puppy dog look unless they're a puppy? Yeah. Anyway, that's how I envision the child.
Ada brings up a good point. Don't you just want to shed these vestments? And Kavar, like, I think pushes off of the rim of the pool and starts to approach, right?
Nice.
Like through the water. And just obey not your directive, but your heart. And at that, Kavar's eyes fall upon the child. Yes, your heart, which is destined for such great things, but I fear it's in a pretty cage made of gilded black bone.
She literally has a veil made of black bone. And she says, "Oh, the time to follow our hearts." She says, "I have centuries of there are eons of stories of people following their hearts and how far they fall when they do. I have fallen as far as I can, and she sort of like looks like off in the mist, like not at anything particular, but like there's just like this vaguely sense that there's like bad shit that that the rest of the house is bad. It's just like, and I unlike, she doesn't want to shit on you. She's like, I have much to lose, and so I'm very careful when I when I take risks. When I
What do you
decide
have to
let myself
lose, Eloise? You are pilfered from another house. All your bonds severed. The only thing here that you own, truly, that you take care of is in this bath, is it not? And her eyes like flick to the child again. I think your position is quite the opposite. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
And there's like a little bit when she like perches forward to get closer to you, and her veil sort of like tips back a little bit, and we can like see like black tendril something like almost about to escape, and then like the veil comes back down again, and the like kisses would be really like who doesn't want to kiss the devouring face, but also like kisses can be dangerous. And you can see that like that's her showing that like sign of interest, that like that show of like taking off of like letting loose. She's like, like obviously you have her tempted, but also she kind of wants you to see that like when she lets loose, it's like really catastrophic. It's like it could be really bad. It's like, what do you have in mind?
I think maybe this is when Ida like goes in for the kill.
I know. What's your pitch?
I
won't play hard again. Just give me. I'm sure.
I'm just saying. What the hell's that? That perhaps it's time for a little more blood in the House of Blood and
Bone. She kind of looks around cautiously, and then is reminded of the thing that she said of, "Oh yeah, it's totally safe here. No one's listening in." It says, "Oh, have one of my many brethren given you offense? Do you wish to claim justice against them? I will not stand in your way. In fact, I would facilitate a duel if you wanted it."
I don't seek justice for myself, but for you, my dear. Stolen from your house.
I was not stolen. I was given a choice. The choice was a grim one.
I mean, was it really a choice? Surely it was phrased that way, but was it really?
She looks back at the child and she says, I've chosen my path. I bear no ill will, I promise you. And like, it's so obvious that she's lying. Like that, when she says that, it's like, it's almost like the air around her vibrates. It's so untrue. There's like a little Sauron effect there. Like it's almost like the mouth from within this talk is saying it. Like, I bear no ill will. And I'm like, if it was written in comics, it would be like craggly a dialogue box. So you wish to help me free myself of my bonds. I understand. Do you have who is it that you think holds my chain?
I think that
the Obsidian Skeleton is the name of the
I was like looking.
Who is your person? What's the house thing?
I think there is a pile of bones that sits upon a throne that does not need to be there. I think once you have lost that mortal flesh, that feel, that when you've reduced yourself to such a husk, you probably have lost much of your connection to this world. You don't really deserve to hold it.
Eloise reaches underneath her veil to wipe away the spittle that's formed on her lips, as you've described this. And she says, "Ooh, you certainly have your sights set high. All for me, I'm sure. All to aid.
I mean, if you aim for the stars, you can't help but land on the moon. Might as well aim high."
she sort of looks at Kavar when you say aim for the stars. She thinks of the House of Sword and Halo. And she says, all right, so this is where I want to complicate things, right? Tell me if I can do this. I want to say a thing and for it to be true, even though we have not established it yet. And I have a house ability called Whisper, which is to uncover or create a secret. I would like to say a thing that is not well known, but when I say it, it is understood that it's true. Is that an action that I can take to make to have to make that be true?
Yeah, this is tricky right now.
Secret about the world. I'll tell you what I want to say. I want to say I want to make Eloise integral to the destruction of houses, and to claim that the Obsidian Skeleton, like all rulers of the houses, have a house curse. That if you destroy them, they will curse you in horrific ways, and they will infect you with themselves, and they will turn. That's why the houses haven't destroyed each other earlier, is because they all are wary of each other.
Mutually assured destruction.
Exactly, and the only way to deal with that is if there's something that can consume that curse energy. Something that is all consuming, perhaps. And I'm just trying to set Eloise up in a situation where I know when she's inevitably betrayed that there is some that there is some considerations around that. So
yeah, I don't even think it's a roll because, like, I mean, for one thing, we can only use house actions if we have power, and right now we don't have that quite yet.
Okay, all right.
But you are the master of secrets, so I don't see why you wouldn't even know this in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. You are, in fact, the watcher of your house. So I think this is something that you do know, that you have access to. Yeah.
So she asks you both to come closer, to get right very next to each other. So the four of our heads are all like, I don't know, I'd say like someone could lean over and kiss another person distance, like that distance, whatever that measure is. And she says, perhaps you do not know, perhaps you do, perhaps this is a trap for me, but there's a curse that every house has, a curse that the leader of every house has, that should anyone vanquish them, they will live and die with. I mean, this is why so many houses have let each other be this long. This is why my own house is not fully destroyed, even though they have been weakened greatly. If the Obsidian Skeleton was to be destroyed, everyone who touched them would turn to bone. They would lay wreckage to the entire home of the Slayer. And she
would we know that you, as the all consumer, are a vital asset to our team? Do we know that?
I don't know. I think if you want to, like, I don't want to be pushing it all. Like, I want to make sure that I'm trying to sort of position Eloise as being that, but like, I can. You can make me argue for it, or you can know it. I'm happy either way. I mean, I think we're all vital. Obviously, we're the PCs, but like, for sure.
But like, I mean, I'm down to know. I feel like it'd be more interesting if you were. So we can't just like cut and run and just kill you. We can't gank you because you're useful.
I would like that, if only to keep the tensions between us. So it's not just like, well, you know, we'll
I'm interested in it.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely know.
Great. Then in that case, Kavar looks at you
without touching someone. Just say.
I'm not sure how far distant you need to be. I'm not sure how distant you need to be from the curse. Perhaps that would do. And she sort of looks back at Kavar because it looked like you were going to say something too.
Yeah. Kavar just sort of says, like flicks her eyes over to Ada and says, "Well, it is my understanding that what we're trying to accomplish here is complete and utter annihilation. No? And if there is a curse that will break forth from the fossilized bones of that obsidian husk, as you so eloquently put it, Ada, you," and she turns to Eloise, "should do what all the girls at my pleasure palace are so good at doing. Open your mouth and eat. No?"
Direct much.
You have met her, right?
Um, yeah, I think somehow you can see a smile from underneath the veil. I don't know how, but the veil shifts, and I think that's it. I think that's good. I think she's convinced. It's all good. Now we should jump into the scheme.
Perfect.
Thank you both for humoring for me for that. I just
Oh
felt
yeah, no,
like I
that
just
that was
felt
great.
like we had to like know what we were doing. Or
Yeah, and I think there's a moment where like the camera pans away from this group in the water, right, and moves through the baths, through the veils, and in a private bath, right, off to the side. This one is even more opulent than the rest. There are veins of gold, and underneath the black tile, we can see like several fossilized bones and these skeletons like holding onto their faces in grotesque horror. And in the baths, we see like slivers of skin just shift and move, and faces reveal themselves over and over again as Mutakad, the last forgiveness, like comes up from the baths and says, "Ah, yes, and the games will start. My beloved, how will you impress me?" And so I think we're going to go into our first scheme.
yeah, yeah, we are.
Sounds about right.
All right. So what we're gonna do? So this is the. So you notice that in your house like playbooks, you have access to your house actions and your abilities. The way that you use this is by using power which you gain from your house. In order to gain this power, you have to make promises to the connections in your house. So for each promise you make, you get to roll one die, and then the highest die will grant you that much power, right? So just so that we know, um, when you roll a 1 to 3, you gain 2 power. When you roll 4 to 5, you gain 4. When you roll a 6, you gain 5. And when you roll crit, you gain 6 power, right, out of 7. So each time you use an action, cost 1 power. Each time you use an ability, 1 power. Some abilities let you spend more power to get more cool stuff, basically. That being said, house advantages are always free on the house, right? So, yeah. So you get to tell me, right? We can either just I enjoy role playing the scene a little bit, but you can also just tell me what you promise, like a connection of the house. If you have an idea, we can do that. I can offer you what the connection wants, right? So it's very flexible, right? So um, let's start with our house of blood and bone. I think it's going to be interesting that you're going to make a promise to someone from the house and then destroy the house.
Yeah, I mean, like that feels like. I mean, what is the significance of betraying these of not following on these promises, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously people this if we trade in promises, they have to mean something, right? They can't just be like trivial to discard.
Yeah. Ooh, and I forgot to mention these promises must be fulfilled during the scheme,
Okay.
right? And so if you're unable to fulfill the promise, we take a clock called lost prestige, right, against your house. You can only break so many promises before your house gets upset with you, right? This is some Asian family realness. So with that, yeah. So which is why when we go into the scheme, you're going to have to try to do what you have to do to please the throne, but you also have these promises you have to take care of, right? So these things intersect in interesting ways. Hopefully, that is the design, and it's been the case in the playtest so far, but we'll see. Okay, so for Eloise, who would you like to make a promise to, or would you like me to offer someone?
Well, I think I have a pretty obvious promise in mind. I can make a promise to the child, and my promise to them is that I will recover the femur of the obsidian skeleton. That there'll be just one bone left behind, and it will be the femur. And from that, the child will form their scepter. It as when they that will be I will give it to them to make their scepter from when they rule. So they'll have the entire history of the house, the entire even though the house will be destroyed, when they create their new realm, they'll carry that forward. So I think I can give them. It could be a different bone, it could be the skull. I don't know. Whatever we think is super cool, but some important bone of the obsidian skeleton that that they will carry forth. So I feel like that's an easy That's an easy one. Does that sound like a good promise, Ray? Is that
Yeah. I think I'm gonna say that the Princeling of the Void will actually ask for. I think it'll be a hand. Oh, because it'd be cool if it's like the hand grips like a, right, like an orb for the scepter. Yeah. But I think what the child says is, Mother, with the same hands that you used to care for me and protect me, I wish to take the hand of our dear elder. And there's a moment when like you see in your child's eyes, like there's a flash, like there's a flicker. Maybe the child knows in some capacity subconsciously how the elder is like using the child,
Mhm.
but that passes, right? And they just say, yeah, I wish to take fate with a hand more powerful than my own.
You shall have it, my child.
Yeah. So that's one promise.
That's one promise.
Mhm.
And I feel like, I feel like I'm kind of gonna bum my sister out if she's the command of the Legion of the Dead. If the house is ruined, seems like it's gonna be bad for her. But I would love to make her a promise. If you have anything you could
Oh
offer.
yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, your chosen sister. I'll say, let's see. I think I'm gonna take a look at one of the what we need for the ritual of reincarnation. Ooh. What your sister's going to ask for is, my dear Eloise, I would like you to take what remains of our dear mother, the first avatar of death, and bring her to me. So you know that Kai is like your adopted sister of this house, or
she's part of the House of Blood and Bone. I think Kai was the one that, for lack of better terms, is the only one that Eloise actually feels close to. That Kai has, I think, was probably very tough on her originally, but that they have formed some bonds in the past, and that there's a lot of mutual respect and care for one another. But she is originally House Blood and Bone. We can tell from all the candles that are lit on her all the time. That's just how the Blood and Bone nobles do. They just have these candles,
like dozens of candles that just
right, just dozens of candles all over their body that are just running all the time. Like you do.
Yeah. So what do you think of your mother being from House of Ash and Flame is also her mother, right? And that was the secret that the obsidian skeleton had to hide.
That. Yeah.
That was part of the reason why you were given the choice to come to the House of Blood and Bone.
So is the idea that my mother's remains or my mother's burial place is somewhere here, and she wants me to bring something of that?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, your mother, who was chosen as the Avatar of Death, unthinking. Someone from the House of Ash and Flame, impossible, cannot be an Avatar of Death. And so she was punished for it.
I love that. Bring the remains of the Avatar. Awesome. I'm super happy with that. I like those two promises. I could certainly make a promise to Obsidian Skeleton. It might be like delicious and rich to, be like, yeah, sure, Skelly skeletons. I feel like I could make a deceptive kind of promise. Tell me, Ray, if you feel like this is the kind of political backstabbing that you think this game is about. Like, I can make the promise of, like, I have information about the houses of Sword and Halo and Glass and Clay, and I will bring to you their plans, which is going to be like, their plans are to destroy you, and I'm the one doing it. Well, welcome to this knowledge. as I destroy you. Like, to me, that feels cheatery, but it also feels like the kind of like shitty noble sort of like, oh, I did what I said I would do, and it's just not the answer you want to hear. Is that the kind of promise you think?
I think like I do like that, but I think it'd be interesting if what do you think of like the obsidian skeleton pointing you at the House of Sword and Halo instead? Because this is taking place at their estate, right? With the party
Mm-hmm.
and everything. Right?
Yeah.
What if the obsidian skeleton asked you to like receive a message from the elder?
Oh, I think that's good. I'll get up in Kavar's business on accident. What if I need to do something just to fuck it up even more? What if I need to do something with fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up, fuck it up. Sorry, I need to find his name. Your bro.
Oh,
I just feel like
Chalcedonian? Uh-huh.
Chalcedonia. Um to give him a message or to receive something from him.
Yeah. On behalf of the obsidian skeleton. And that's going to give you your chance to like reveal your plans to the obsidian skeleton later. What do you think?
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. I also realized as we're going through this, I messed up a little bit. We're supposed to do the first gambit first, but it's no problem. We'll do it next time with the next game. It's not a real big biggie. Okay.
Do what first? Sorry? The first
Oh, the first gambit, which was the replacement for the engagement role, basically.
Oh.
So, but we'll get into it after.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem. So, with that, so those are 3 promises. You can make the roll now or later. It's up to you, and then just take the highest, right?
I'll roll. That sounds good. I'm back in the die roller. Oh my god, this.
Oh no! Wait! I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna make a new one.
Are you gonna click? It's okay. I mean, I just want to.
Okay, let's give it this one chance to redeem itself.
All right, here we go. Rolling. How do we delete these dice?
Or you can re-roll them. Like if you select them, you can.
I know.
Like,
I just want to.
Oh yeah, you can delete all of them if you want.
I want to point out that there are 21 rolls and 1 6. I just want to point that out. That just
this is your last chance, right? Your last chance before we destroy you.
All right, kill him. Okay, almost. This is the TV. This is the show that that everyone's here for. All right. 3d6. Let's roll those bones.
There you go.
I'll take that.
There we go.
This Dexter was like, please
keep me. Please keep me.
All right, you may
I'll
live.
give you 5s and 6s. What do you need? All right. So, I think that gives
5 power. Yes,
I have 5 power.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
Very good. And so, just as an aside, whatever power you have that you didn't use during this game, it stays there.
Okay, so that's why you can get up to 7 because you can accumulate. Okay, excellent. I will. That sounds fantastic, and I'd love to see what other promises my peers make.
Yeah. So, Kavar, do you have an idea for a promise? Do you want to just let me know who you're interested in seeking a promise from?
Does Astra count?
Ooh, normally. I've been like experimenting with this. Normally, Astra wouldn't because Astra isn't tied to the innate power of the house, unless you have like I've had people do long-term projects where they could do that. Right? They're like, I'm going to turn my vassal into someone who will give you power, which you can totally do.
Right. I think it right by default it has to be your connections with your father, mother, half brother, and mentor.
That's fine. I can stick to those. No worries. I will make a promise first to, I think, my father, mother, the Night Conqueror, the Queen Commander, ruler of our shattered heaven. Yes, I think I'm gonna tell her what the scheme is, just so she's aware. I mean, it's happening on her home turf, and I'm part of the reason. I have many motivations for doing this. One of them is to impress her, and make her proud. Another one is during the scheme, obviously break blood and bone, right? But that's good for us, right? Because that's one less competitor. I know you're all good. That's an adorable pupper. And the other one is I would want to advance my long-term project during the scheme. Like I'm trying to continue to cultivate the door and also turn Oscar mortal and like collect all the materials needed for that during the scheme. Because I think Blood and Bone has some things that I need. So, with that in mind, I'm open. I'm curious, Ray, about what promise you think Father and Mother would want to solicit from me.
Ooh.
Because she knows
I
I'm doing
think,
this.
yeah, I think like Father Mother knows that the House of Blood and Bone keeps the last corpse of the dead god. Like one of them has survived and is with the House of Blood and Bone. It was like a spoil of war that they received long ago. Right. And so Mother Father tells you, I would have you either bring back the spoils of such war or consume what remains of this dead god. And there's a moment where Father and Mother, like, so we have those wings and those many eyes, like sizing you up. And then he says, but I do not know if you are strong enough to consume such shattered divinity. Perhaps it would be safer if you simply bring it back home for your dear brother.
I won't fail you, Father, Mother. I'll do exactly what is necessary. Nothing less.
And there's a moment where like the wings reach out to like, and then we see right before the wings cover everything, right? Know that I will love you even if you disappoint me.
I only strive to be worthy of your disappointment.
Excellent.
Okay. That's the promise I make, to retrieve or consume the last corpse.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
God, I have to
Like a
promise Chalcedonia
backhanded
something.
compliment.
Yeah. Well, we know how, Asian parent feels.
My own mother has said
Yeah.
something
Listen.
similar to-
I'll love you
Listen.
even if you disappoint me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how my mom feels about me. So Chalcedonia, the king. God, I have to promise my stupid brother something. All right, fine, I will. I'm gonna promise.
I mean, you don't have to promise him something, but you get
I
power
want
if you
to.
do.
I want to. I want that power. Give me that power. I've got hubris. Let's do it. Okay, I go up to this bastard. Well, he's not a bastard. If anything, I'm the bastard, but he doesn't have to know that I think that way about myself. I am going to approach him in his quarters, wherever he is, and see what's up. See what he's doing, what he's up to.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, ooh, I think there's a moment where Chalcedonia, like he's super busy preparing for this event, right? Not that your brother has to like do this directly, but he likes, micromanaging the asshole that he is. You can see that he's visibly stressed. You can tell that he's heard about what happened to the shop, but he doesn't know who's behind it, right? And then your brother says, yes, my dear Kavar, I was hoping perhaps if it wasn't beyond your means that I made a promise to our dear, dear First of Daggers, right? And he talks about the First of Daggers, the elder of the House of Glass and Clay, like they're close, like they're on the same level. Absolutely not true. Okay. But he speaks of the First Daggers that way. I promise the First Daggers a dance, but I'll be far too busy attending to other matters. And there's that strain again, right? And he says, if you could perhaps dance with them in my stead, since you're so good with everything that you do. And like he sort of like waves a hand towards like your reputation of being the lust maker.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Of course, anything for my dear brother Chelsea. I'll make sure the entire world is aware of your two left wings.
Yes, of course. Now, be careful with their hearts, should you claim it. And that's what your brother's really asking you to do, to get the elder of the House of Glass and Clay to fall in love with you.
Oh my god. No big deal. Okay.
Love it.
And so you definitely know it's a way that your brother's like trying to, he's asking in earnestness, but he's also like setting you up, right? He's hoping that you won't be able to pull it off.
Well, there has not yet been a romantic or sexual conquest I've not accomplished so far, so my track record trends toward the positive here.
Of course, of course. I know that this is not beyond your skills, dear sister, he says. And then there's a moment where you see like the mask like shift imperceptibly on its own.
But I have a feeling it might be beyond yours, so I will be more than happy to take this matter, which is much too onerous, off your plate and bear it upon my shoulders.
And you can see your brother is really distracted because he doesn't rise to it.
Huh. Well, it's because I've kidnapped his kid.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's got other things on his mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It surprises you that your brother cares so much. It's not. I mean, nobles
It's weird.
have children on the side all the time. Yeah. And,
I've never seen him express this much concern over anyone except himself. So this is very odd to me. Yeah. Okay. I will promise him to get the solipsis to fall in love with me. All right. And I think the last promise, because I guess I'm going for all three, that I'd like to make is to Loratek, the first human.
Ooh. I think so Loratek, we see that she's old, like with her white hair, right? And so does everyone know that she's the first human, or is this a secret that only you know?
I think everyone knows, and she's something of like a special, like a little pet animal that they keep in a zoo, like in the House of Sword and Halo. Like she lives in this beautiful little enclosure, like a terrarium, basically, right? Like like a little Garden of Eden, and she lives there, but she can't ever leave. And there are people who like give her food and stuff to like keep her alive, right? And like I think her lifespan has been extended magically. Like she would have died like literally thousands of years ago, but we think she's a curio. And I think the House of Sword and Halo collects like human curios from the human world, right? Like the first typewriter or whatever, like stuff like that. And she's the first human. But I go to visit her secretly, and no one knows that I actually care about her and respect her opinion.
Oh, I love this. Yeah, I think when you come by to see her, I'm so happy to see you. Like she lays like a gentle, wrinkled hand on top of yours, and she says, "Kavar, how is that lovely Astra of yours? I haven't seen Astra lately."
She's fine. She's busy as always.
Yes, Ness. Now, don't forget. You're very, very busy, Kavar, I know. And she lays a hand on your cheek. But you have to rest too sometimes, child.
I have no time for rest, Loratek. There's a lot of work to be done. And I lean in and I say, in 2 nights, the House of Blood and Bone will come attend a masquerade party that we're throwing here. You should stay out of the way. Just stay in your shack. I don't want you to get hurt.
And there's a moment where Loratek like holds on to both your hands and she's quiet. And she just says, "There's no turning away from this, is there?" And then you can see like the joy in her eyes at the idea that an end will finally come, that she'll be free from this like immortality that she's been cursed with. And she lets out this long rattling sigh through her bones. And she says, "You must know that the humans, sometimes I dream about the chaos, about the magic. And then there's a moment when she starts to fade a little bit. She does this sometimes, where she just sort of like, you think she's like somewhere else, and she looks at you and she forgets who you are for a moment before it comes back. And then she says, Oceana, her name is Oceana, please find her for me. She'll be there. I know she'll be there." And she's like holding on to you, like you can feel like the desperation in her voice.
Am I aware of who Oceana is? Like the leader of the Chaos Wizards? Okay.
Oh, I'll say that you've like heard whispers, right? Like you've heard the name, right? Like but nothing confirmed. No one even knows what Oceana looks like or if she's really real.
Oceana, what is she? What does she want? How does she fit into this?
And then like Lortek places both hands on your face. Harbinger, apocalypse. Please, you must find her. I and then she's like at a loss. You can see like she doesn't know why it's important. She just knows that you have to find her.
Hey. It's okay. It's okay. That's enough thinking for you for today. Why don't you here, I'll walk you around the orchards.
Right. Oh, I've done so much work in the orchards, as much work as they'll let me. I can't wait to show you what I've done. And she says,
I can't wait to
smiling up
see.
at you.
I think I guide Lortek very almost like I'm like a granddaughter, like guiding my grandma like through these orchards, looking at the beautiful grafting she's been doing, right, and like the various seeds and planting. And I think there are some trees here that are almost as old as she is, that she's nurtured from like a seed, right, when she was first here. And I promise to find Oceana. I might kill her. Who knows?
Yeah. You didn't promise anything else, just to find her. So
Just to find her. Yep. So. All right.
Exactly.
Do I roll now?
Yeah. So you have 3 dice to roll with. So go ahead and roll.
Here we go. I am red.
There it is.
There you go. I saw the 2 and 3 first.
Die roller is staying for another day.
Yes,
is that 5?
Okay.
For
That is
now.
correct. 5.
Okay,
5.
awesome.
It's 5.
You were on thin ice, dice roller. But yeah. Okay, so for Ida, what promises would we like to make?
Let's start with the bodyguard, the ruse duelist.
Oh, yeah, of course. Right, do you have an idea? Would you like me to supply you with one?
I want to say it's something kind of cheesy, like, I promise I'll come back safely. Which, I mean, yeah, on the surface it sounds like, oh, that should be easy. But she knows me.
What if we make it a little harder? Like she says, you have to promise. Ooh. What if she asks you to promise not to hurt anyone?
Oh.
Not permanently, at least. Nothing to leave a scar.
If they're dead, they can't scar. So does that count?
If you say this to her, she'll like look at you and cross her arms, and they'll say, as long as they don't suffer, I know you.
That I can do. I promise I will not cause any suffering.
Very well. And then your bodyguard like nods. I will not be able to keep my eye on you the whole time because of your penchant for getting away from me. But as long as you don't make anyone suffer, and I won't have to explain to the First of Daggers what you're up to, that's all that matters.
That's probably for the best.
And I think there's a moment also where the Rose Duelist looks at you, but you also have to keep yourself safe. No one scars you. No one hurts you. And there's like this kind of like something that's not quite said between the two of you about
it. Except me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I run my hand down the side of her face. Of course. I shall return as unscathed as I leave.
And yeah, I think that she smiles at that. All right, so we have our first promise. Would you like to make another one, or are you happy with the one?
Oh, I need at least one more.
Oh yeah,
because dice rollers hate me. Let's go with Last Whisper.
Ooh, I see. Okay. So you're the favorite sister, right? Yeah. Do you have an idea, or would you like me to like supply
I
you with
do
one?
not have an idea.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to meet them yet. I feel like they're called the Last Whisper. Let me know what you think, right? How you feel about this, because they're like they're so in the know of all the whispers that goes on in the courts and in the houses, right? Like there's a story that her magic is tied to the secrets that
Okay.
bind the houses together, right? So it's
Yeah,
very
definitely.
vague what that means exactly. But yeah, and so I think what the Last Whisper wants to ask of you, um, ooh, the Last Whisper says there are many secrets surrounding the child. My dear, dear sister, if you could procure one for me, the poor sparkless thing.
To bring you back a secret, I would need to know what you already know so that I know what secrets you don't know. Because a poor secret is one that you already know.
And then the Last Whisper smiles and well, cunning as always, dear sister. Let's just say that I know that the child's spark is not truly gone. I need to know how that spark was taken so that interested parties may find their way to the spark.
I shall see what I can do.
And your sister says, I know that you can do it all, my sister. There's nothing beyond your capabilities, no matter what you let people believe. But I'll let you keep this secret.
It's not mere modesty. There may or may not be enough people left to speak upon the subject.
Oh, are you still killing people? My sister, that's so passe. You let other people do it for you. That's what the help is for.
Now, you can't bring down a house without breaking a few eggs.
Fine. I'll let you break your eggs, your bones, your souls, whatever it is that you like these days.
Stay calm,
Excellent.
sister.
Excellent. All right. So we made our promise to the Last Whisper. Would you like to make a third promise?
Oh, sure. Why not?
I
This scheme is going to
mean,
be so complicated. I
while
love
we're
it.
at it, so curious, right? Is that now that I've already made three promises and I'm realizing what I've got myself into, is the sort of foundation of the scheme then that like the players have their 1 to 3 things that they're trying to do,
While
and
also
then
doing
there's
what the throne needs. Well, yeah.
yeah,
It's
okay,
a balancing act.
got it.
Yeah.
All right,
It's a
we're gonna stop at 2 because if I try to do 3 things, my brain will stop.
No, sorry, Misha. I didn't mean to discourage you
No,
from it.
not
I was
you.
just thinking,
My
like,
brain will stop working now. Uh, so,
there.
yeah, but don't worry, we're gonna take 2 sessions for this scheme, so we'll let things breathe. So no worries. I don't want everyone to feel rushed to like fulfill all the promises of the remaining time. But yeah, but we can stop at 2 if you like.
yeah,
Two
we'll
is
stop at 2.
2 dice is good. All
All
right.
right.
So let's see the roll.
Sorry, I have an especially needy dog this evening.
It's
Oh,
okay.
He's just been
yeah.
like, I need all the love, and we should.
So
I got a
cute.
6.
Nice.
This
It
dice
doesn't.
Jesus
roll
Christ. This dice
is
roll
really,
is.
really
It's
okay.
really knew it was on the dice and is doing
Yeah.
its
Nice.
best to,
Nice.
Please don't
So
kill me.
please
Please
mark
don't kill me.
5 power. But
I
yeah,
don't want to
excellent.
die. Oh. Okay, sorry.
Nice. Okay, so with that, we're going to move to my version of like the Google sheet is stuck in trying to connect. Let me close it and open a new
Oh,
one.
no?
But
You want us
Um,
to go to the tab? I can put it on screen share.
yeah, let me see. I'm gonna try to open it again one more time to see if it's really not. It's not even loading now. Fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna go to the first gambit, right? So basically, this is just to be clear, like what's at stake, right, and what's going on. This is also your chance to like already change the parameters of the game, right? So, I'm so sorry, Sean, if you could take us to
Yeah. What tab is the first gambit
The
on?
player reference tab.
the play reference. Yeah, yeah.
Got it.
All
Perfect,
the
perfect.
first like chunk of columns towards the bottom.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
The first
There we
gambit.
go.
Here we go. Awesome.
Right. So this is a level 1 scheme. So because I can't read very well here, could you read it for me, Shaw?
Yes, absolutely. The first gambit. This process determines your starting position for a scheme. The GM answers the following questions at the start of every scheme. Nobles may expend vassals and advantages to change these answers, representing the nobles' tactical manipulations. Should the answers remain unchanged, the nobles will begin in a desperate position. So, level 1 scheme. Expend 1 vassal or advantage for each question to start in a risky position. Expend 2 for each question to start in a controlled position. And then
Yeah, so
there's
we're at
level
level 1. Yeah.
we're level 1, level 2. And then, so the first question is, what else do the nobles need to accomplish to please the throne and embrace tragedy?
Right, because we know the main thing you have to do is to create the ritual, right, of reincarnation. Like, uh, but I'm gonna say what
Hold on.
Mutakad.
I'm sorry. I this is me like lapsing. Is creating the ritual of reincarnation something that Mutakad asked
Yes.
last session? Okay. I was like, wait,
Oh,
what did I miss?
okay. No problem, no problem. So it's under like the Clock of Ruin tab. You can
Ah,
see the things that are necessary um in order to like, so under House of Blood and Bone for the Ritual of Incarnation, you just have to get 3 of those things out of the 5. And
got
it's
it.
really I will provide the opportunities, but you can also create them for yourself. We will generously interpret any of those things.
Got it.
Right. So if you so I will say this right now. A really cunning noble will try to connect their promises to like one of these things as well, right? Oh, I'm gonna get this, but it's also gonna be this ritual aspect, right? So
That makes sense. So the 5 that we have, just to sort of throw out to everybody, is of these 5, 1, 3: deny reincarnation to all nobles, spread an aspect of undeath, compromise a powerful noble from the House of Blood and Bone, gain access to death itself and empower, weaken, or destroy it, manipulate the records or flow of karma.
yeah.
Nice.
So as long as you do 3 of those things, right, and however you see fit, it'll begin the ritual of reincarnation, bring the house to oblivion, right? So I'm sorry, bring the house to annihilation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, for the first gambit, what Mutakad is asking you to do. Ooh, they're so entranced with Ida, right? So I'm gonna say, to have Ida show that she deserves to lead the House of Glass and Clay is like so. Oh, you type it in the above one. Sorry, the one you're typing in is like if a noble decides to change things, they'll like say which vassal or advantage.
Oh, okay. So it's only one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Ida show that she is fit to lead the House of Glass and House of Glass, and I know
Glass and
Clay.
Clay, no problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So any of us can spend one of our house advantages or vassals to change a detail of that. Is that?
Yeah, or even just strike it out, right? So let me just complete the thought and to embrace tragedy, so that you can have like, it's a level 1 scheme, but I'll say, so there won't be too much, but the next thing is to also show the rest of the houses that the House of Sword and Halo is the most dangerous house of all. So you can tell that Muthakat is really asking the group of you to really like make it showy, right? To really like put yourselves out there, right? Which could create some tensions, but it may be, right. But there you go. And then the next one is what known obstacles and defenses of the targeted house are in play. I'm going to ask, like, so Kavar, like, this is going to be your turf, right? But you also, so I want like an idea of like what you think.
I thought this was Eloise's turf.
It is. I thought the party was taking place at the House
Gotcha.
of Sword and Halo. Yeah.
Mhm.
But we're gonna have an obstacle of defense of like the House of Sword and Halo, and then the House of
Gotcha.
Blood and Bone
Blood
for
and
sure.
Bone. Okay.
Yeah. But like, unless you think your house is completely in on it and they're totally fine and you don't have to worry about them.
Well, I think Chalcedonia, my father, mother, myself, and because I kind of hinted it to Loratek, know that some shit's gonna go. Like, father, mother knows everything I do. I think knows that we're trying to like straight up destroy and wreck shit. And I think the nobles that have to know of Sword and Halo know. But other than that, it's a pretty tightly kept secret because the more people know, the more likely it is that Blood and Bone will find out.
I mean, that could be the obstacle, is that they're horrific gossips and that they let shit slip.
Yeah.
And that,
I like that.
That's
Loose lips sink ships.
That's right. Right. Let's say the
Loose
lesser
lips.
nobles of House of Sword and Halo with lesser nobles with loose lips. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
Because we'll know what that means. Right.
Yes, I like that.
Perfect. So how about the House of Blood and Bone, right? Like how I have an idea, but in case you have one, Sean, like how are they going to protect themselves as they appear here at our party?
I feel like the House of Blood and Bone doesn't leave their home often. This is a pretty rare sort of thing. And so I feel like they would really come with some sort of like entourage that would be like considered an honor guard, but is actually quite dangerous. And maybe that's like maybe that's my chosen sister and like the Legion of the Dead, but maybe it's also just something like, oh yeah, since we're happy to be here, we had to bring death with us. So like now all of you nobles who are immortal can actually die because we're here. So like that's just a risk factor that you have when you invite the House of Blood and Bone, is that like, oh yeah, death's here too. So you could all die, or any of you theoretically could die. And normally I would say that like any of these nobles could, like, even if they suffered a horrible wound, they could recover from it. They could be reincarnated. That something could happen. But so that's an idea, but I'm not stuck with that. I don't feel.
I think just saying like the presence of death and all that it carries, right, is like definitely going to be an obstacle and a challenge. So the presence of death, we can like.
Okay.
Yeah, I just tend to be very flowery, so we can keep.
I'm
it short.
curious as to what you had in mind, though, right? Maybe we can.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say that. I was going to say that the psychopomps of death, right? Like each one would like attend each of the nobles, right? And so the eyes of death are always on you. Was what I was thinking.
I do. I like those both. Yeah, the folks feel.
We could combine the two, right? It's the presence of death is those psychopomps. Right?
Yeah. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Cool.
Everyone gets a +1. They're psychopomp. That's what happens in the House of Blood and Bone shows.
Lots of awkward third wheels. You're like, we're all hanging out with our psychopomps.
Just waiting any moment, just in case.
You know how hard it is to play cornhole when every single time we try to form teams, there's just like an indeterminate number of extra psychopomps that like this game really only works with 4 people.
And the bean bags keep dissolving because
every time they pick them up, the canvas rots away in the bag and the beans all pour out.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what cornhole is. I try to look it up, but Google's not working.
Yeah.
for
Oh
me.
God.
It's a really
Cornhole
dumb
is like
lawn
it's
game.
like a cross between horseshoes and skee ball, kind of. You have a
Is the
beanbag
skee ball
and
the
there's
one with the thing you throw into the
in the
like?
holes.
Yeah.
So you've got a
Oh,
beanbag and you've got a board that has a single hole. So you're trying to get in or close to the hole. The first time I heard, hey, the cornholes in the back was very disturbing. Because yeah, it totally
yeah,
needs something different.
It
yeah.
really needs a different, better name, but yeah. But it's a dumb lawn game, and it's like a game like croquet or horseshoes, right? That you would or bocce ball, like any of those games that you play outside and nobody takes that seriously, except for that one guy who ruins it all by taking it that seriously.
It's
Oh my
games that
god,
are easy to play and not hurt yourself when you're half tipsy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Right. Yikes. Yeah.
All right, and we have one more complication, which is who directly or indirectly opposes the nobles.
I think it's just gonna be the other houses because everyone's going to be there, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah. I think it's just gonna be the other guests of the event, right? The other nobles. Okay, so basically now, if you're okay with what's happening, you don't have to spend any vassals or advantages, right? You can be like, we're cool with this Ray. We're cool with our +1 psychopomps and like these loose lips. We can handle it during the scheme, no problem. But we will start in a desperate position, which just means it'll affect the first rolls. You can shift and change things anyway. I want to stress that, right? We won't stay in desperate necessarily. But if you want to change things, let's say you just want to change the one thing, right? Let's say you don't want whatever of those. You can just spend a vassal or an advantage immediately, like remove it, rewrite it, however you like, right? As
Mhm.
connected to your vassal advantage. But if you want to start in a risky position, we just need to spend one vassal advantage per question,
Okay.
right?
So if between the three of us, we spend one on each question and we go to risky. If we spend two on
That
each
is
question,
correct.
we go to controlled.
That is correct.
Okay?
Yep.
So we'd have to exhaust. Now, if we spent, what's the sort of consequence of spending our vassals? So if
It just
we
means you won't have them during the scheme.
got it. So if
Mhm.
we're like, I don't think this vassal is going to be relevant anyway, then
I will say mechanically, it's harder to refresh a vassal. The advantage is just refresh automatically, right?
Got
But the
it.
vassals, you have to take an actual action per vassal to refresh them. So
And by advantages, are we talking about personal advantages or house event, or is
both.
okay?
Yeah. You can use both, no problem.
But we have 3 personal advantages that we get per scheme, right? And then
And 2 house advantages.
2 house advantages. So we have a total of 5 advantages, which will always be sort of reset at the beginning anyway. But they're not going to be available to us if we use them here. Makes
That
sense.
is correct. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it depends like how much of a good start you want to have and how bold you want to be. But it's a level 1 scheme. Like this will get harder and harder, like level 3 when more things start to pile up, right? And there's a lot that you want to change. But for now,
I feel like the ones I don't know. None of these are something I'm super opposed to, but I could see us wanting to deal with something about the lesser nobles and shutting them up so the
I
gig isn't
have
up.
something that'll work for the lesser nobles.
Okay.
A house advantage is the perfect distraction.
Nice.
Nice.
Even juicier gossip.
Oh yeah.
Could
That's
be.
right.
Yeah.
Cool. So what do you want to change that to then? What do you want to just remove that thread or change or to just change it to
they're caught up in they're enraptured with this aerialist kind of show I'm imagining.
Oh,
And
nice.
so while we're doing that, they're oohing, and we're working in concert with that distraction.
Oh yeah. What if it's like like this aerial show that's what is it? Like gosh, what's the word? Right at the tip of my tongue. Artistic reinterpretation of a historical event. Right.
Oh,
Like
with aerial silks? Oh, that would be amazing.
yeah. My suggestion is how the House of Sword and Halo freed itself from the tyranny of gods. Right. So it's a
Now
it's
we're
an artistic
talking.
battle, right? Of like destroying the gods and shit like that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. You don't need to write all of that down, Sean. I just got carried away.
I absolutely have to write it all down. One, because it's beautiful and gorgeous, and two, because I will probably forget it later. If I don't. So
Let's be honest.
It'll be like, what was the thing again?
I
And
don't
we'll know Ray said something really cool, and that will be as far as I remember. I love this because these things never go wrong, right? Like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were totally fine. They made it out of that. They made it out of Hamlet with no problems. Like these aerialists are going to be just great. So should I check this little box, right, to say
That is correct.
Like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, see, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were the players of the play that was within the play.
Right.
They were totally different guys. So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern might not have come to it, but the artists, they were fine.
Absolutely.
That helping.
Excellent.
It's the most meta of
We're nerds.
I don't know. I like the others. I like the presence of death. I think that's fun. I think like people could die, the psychopops are around. Like I'm down with that. Yeah, I don't have any desire to change the other ones. Personally. What do you think, Connie? You wanna?
Well, if we want to try to start in a risky instead of a desperate starting position, I would be down to expand a vassal for who directly or indirectly opposes the nobles.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, well she's important. They're both important. All right, you know what? I'm gonna.
You got an advantage.
You always get like a free long project action, so you can always
That's
take
true.
one interlude action to refresh the vassal. Yeah,
I do, but I want to optimize my build here, so I
yes,
will
do it.
expend a personal advantage where who directly or indirectly opposes the nobles. I will expend a willing victim.
I knew it. Oh my gosh, I love it.
I think this is one of the many other nobles, one of the patrons at my pleasure palace, and he is like straight up in love with Kavar, but Kavar is like, I will never touch you and you will never touch me, and he's like, okay. So he's like, I think he would die for Kavar. Like he is like obsessed and in love with her. So
oh my gosh, yeah.
She will instruct this poor man to be like to put himself in harm's way, like to do everything in his power that's possible to make sure that the other nobles stay out of Kavar, Ada, and Eloise's business.
What house is he from?
I was gonna say, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ray. I want to know.
No, because I was like saying like he's willing to die over and over again, right? What if like he's from House of Blood and Bone?
Yeah,
yeah. Right, so it's like it's just more and more undead, just like just willing to like
he keeps
just
coming
like
back.
complete like a poor gentleman zombie.
I think his name is the Sarge.
Oh, I love it.
Sarge.
I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get a picture.
He used to be like an army general when he was still alive, and then he got reincarnated as a demigod.
Oh yeah,
I like him. I see him as like having like a full mustache, even though he's mostly a skeleton.
A skeleton with a mustache. Oh, that's amazing.
Okay. I will have to spend time looking at it, but I love it.
Right.
It's worthy. We need to find it. A skeleton with a mustache. If I just go to Pinterest and type skeleton with mustache,
what will you find?
Yeah, totally we're gonna find something.
See, Pinterest is working, but Google hates me. What is going on? But anyway, okay, we will do that. Wow, there's a lot of hipster skeletons showing up.
What's up with that?
I'll do a drink of the break. Okay, so
All
We
right.
have that addressed. So
I've got an idea for the first one. I would like to change the show the rest of the houses. The house of Sword and Halo is the most dangerous house of all. I am going to spend a personal advantage, which is my mysterious patron, which I think is going to be Calcedonia, because I'm just going to like tie all this shit together because I've got a promise to deliver something to Calcedonia, and I think Calcedonia is going to be like, no, we're going to bide our time a little bit longer and not tip our hands just yet. So I would like to strike that that requirement out that that Calcedonia is going to use their leverage to so that it's okay to not make a big show this time. Is that groovy, Ray?
of course. You have a lot of power during the first gambit. Anything you tell me happens, it happens.
All right.
So
And Connie, the fact that I got you to gasp makes me delighted.
Listen,
We gotta all be like up in each other's business. Oh yeah, no,
We
he's
are.
a piece of complete shit. He's gotta go. Don't worry, I'm not holding on tight to any of these characters, but I do want to get everyone's hackles up. So where is Calcedonia? Where are you? Characters, no. Houses, yes, no. Yes.
Yes.
There he is. The King Seeker. All right. So under this, I'm going to say, I'll say the King Seeker will quiet trumpets of the House of Sword and Halo. I don't know what the hell the trumpets are. Just sounded cool, but
sounds super cool.
sounds very sword and Halo-y to me.
Yeah. Okay, so I completely lost track of the time. I apologize. Do you want to take our break here, and then we'll just spend the remaining hour setting up the scheme, and we'll go all out next time?
Yeah, that sounds great.
good.
That's good to
That
me.
sounds
Cool,
great.
cool.
Awesome.
All right, friends, we will be back shortly. We're going to put up a banner. Our mics are hot, so we'll be back in a few, or you can listen in as we maybe talk to each other. We'll see.
Yay.
See you in a bit.
I mean, Hot Mics is totally a boy band, right?
Oh my
that's such a
gosh,
good
it has
boy
to
band
be.
name.
Oh
Hot Mics.
gosh.
They all have to be called Mike.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that is such a great high concept right there. Yes.
I know. All right, I'll BRB.
That is-
BRB.